Hi there, I'm Christy Daniels. I'm your self-leadership mentor and tapping into wealth coach. And I'm here today to walk you through a presentation that will give you a framework and will create in a visual way what is so intangible about the work that I do with my clients. And so this will give you an idea of what's involved and a principle that illustrates how the work that we do together works, and hopefully answer some questions that you might have about how is really, truly being able to prioritize yourself in your life possible when you've spent so much time trying to do it, attempting to do it, but meeting with resistance. And so this will give you an overview, a basic explanation and framework to begin to understand how that work takes place and the principles behind how it does actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and take you behind the scenes of my screen here. And set this up so that I can play this slideshow for you. So we start at the top with disconnection. With disattention. And quite often the women that I work with are, they're bright, highly sensitive women who superbly tend to the needs of others, the mind, the body, the spirit, or the business of other people. That might be a teacher, it might be a massage therapist, it might be a social worker, could be a virtual assistant or an online business manager. But you rock at caring for other people. That's what you learned to do, and you do it extremely well. However, quite often, if you're watching this, you probably have hit this point where you're realizing it's not sustainable, what you're doing, because you're doing it at the expense of your own self-care, of your own dreams and desires. And rather than fueling you and energizing you, your situation is actually draining you. And what I want you to know is that that's not an end game, and that's not something you just have to deal with all of your life. I'm going to show you in this presentation how we go in and reconnect and do this work so that you can reorg things so that you are energized. And that really enables you to live from your heart, really live true to your inner wisdom, to your heart's desires, and create a mutually honoring situation where you're honoring yourself. And in that way, you're able to create mutually honoring situations for the people you work for, the clients that you work with, relationships you have in life. It really applies to everything. So at the beginning, up here at disattention, this first block, many of my clients, one thing that we have in common is that when we were young, we interpreted our surroundings. We created an interpretation of the events, of the messages, of the body signals, of just what was around us. And our interpretation was that it's not safe to be here. And so in order to survive, we chose to kind of put ourselves in hiding and to use our intelligence to craft ways of operating that were acceptable to the people around us, that did meet the expectations of the environment we found ourselves in. And that was an excellent survival strategy. It got everyone, me and you, to this point where we can have this interaction. So I want to honor that. And what can happen is, as you become an adult, that strategy that helped you survive rarely is the same strategy that will help you thrive. And so this, the disattention block that we're looking at up here, is that point where you found it's not safe. And so you took your attention off of what was true for you, what your needs were, what was real, your impulses, and you placed them somewhere else outside of you. And so that created a state of disconnection, which is the next block down. And that state of disconnection, your body is your GPS. It gives you very clear and no signals whether or not you recognize them. And that state of disconnection creates a situation where you really don't know what it is you want. You really don't know what it is best. It's better not to really focus on you. Your survival requires, your understanding of your survival required you to focus externally and to do it really well. But that state of disconnection promotes dysregulation. So, your system is out of order. And so you've time and time again, even if you did have that moment in awareness that said, oh, I really want this. Maybe it's my time for this. Maybe what I want is finally important. But I'm sure there have been countless times where you've deferred what you wanted. You've deferred what's important to you, and you've placed the importance on someone that you're in a relationship with, someone who had a stronger desire, a more pronounced desire, and you defaulted to that survival strategy of disconnecting from what you want and what you know to be true for you and deferring to those people outside of you. And that creates a sense of disorder in your life. You commit to too much. You are overextended, overworked, exhausted. You have really nothing left for yourself at the end of the day, and you're running on fumes. And that predisposes us, that state of stress disposes us to a state of dis-ease. And I'm not implying dis-ease as in medical terms, although that could happen. Dis-ease, as I'm referring to it here, is just, it's a lack of ease. It's stress. It's a problem. It's something that you've got to do something about. And so this is often when I interact with clients. Women have such high tolerance for discomfort and pain, and the clients, when I interact with them, often there's a life change. There's something that's come to light, and they're just pushed to the wall, and they've got to make a change. It could be a health challenge. It could be or a healing crisis. It could be a relationship breakup. It could be they're stepping into a bigger role of responsibility, and they're realizing that they've got to get some things in order for themselves before they can go there. And so this is the point of connection that I often meet my clients at. And I want to just stop before we go to the next slide to say that all of these 5 basic steps to either disintegration and disease or the connection in order is all from this book called The Reconnection by Dr. Eric Pearl. And it's more specifically the foreword that was written for the book. And that's where this information is mentioned, and the principle of the wisdom of connection. And that was Greg Schwartz who wrote the foreword. So I want to make sure I honor and give credit where credit's due. So the next slide I want to share with you is what happens when we work together. This is the 5 basic steps to achieving wholeness and healing. So we're really reversing that process. On the top, rather than disattention, we're giving voluntary attention to something. When we give voluntary attention, that creates a sense of connection. And when we have a sense of connection, it fosters self-regulation, wanting to maintain that connection and honor that connection. And then that sense of self-regulation leads to order, an order, a structure that maintains that self-regulation and that state of connection. And then the order ends up expressing as ease, as flowing in life. And so I'm sure you've experienced at some point some area of your life that just flowed. Chances are this principle might have been at play, whether it's with a relationship that you had with someone else, a situation, a group that you're working with. It applies to many things in nature. So more specifically, getting into the steps, the voluntary attention could be as simple as focusing on your body, or the energy flowing between your body and your environment. That state of connection that's made, the attention creates the state of connection. And right here it has, when you allow your mind and your consciousness or your unconscious awareness to experience the energy and the information, it promotes that sense of connection. And then the connection leading to self-regulation is kind of like a team of athletes working together, or an orchestra. They're collaborating and organizing and guiding themselves. And then the state of self-regulation, promoting order, or connection to self-regulation, and then self-regulation to promoting order, is experiences wholeness, beauty. It's just this order to things, and then that order being expressed as ease and experienced as ease, effortless experience of something. And so as this, breaking these principles down, connection leads to order, and then order leads to ease. And I may be doing that. You might be saying it backwards the other way. But connection leads to order, and order leads to ease. By the same token, disconnection leads to disorder and dis-ease. And so this wisdom of connection is the framework that I think is best to describe the work that I do with my clients. So the first step of re-attending. So we begin by re-attending to ourselves. There's, we do weekly or biweekly, depending on your preference, sessions. And those sessions train your attention back to your nervous system within that session, with the exercises and the processes that we do. And it requires you to focus your awareness on your body and your body sensations. And so we do that on a weekly basis. And then at some point, you'll begin doing daily body check-ins. And those daily body attention moments really help you focus more frequently. They increase the frequency of your attention on your body sensations, and the situations in particular where you have an integrity breach, where you in your body know that you want something, but you've deferred to someone else. And so in that moment, there's an integrity breach, and your body will signal to you that there's an integrity breach. And being able to getting very specific on how your body says that to you, and honing in on that signal will help you as you reflect back and do it in a backward-looking reflection process. Then that builds your muscle memory so that you can do it in real time. And then soon you're able to have the skill of noticing and checking in with your body before you give a response, so that you're sure that you're in tune and aligned with your integrity, with what it is that you want. We also particularly hone in on situations where you have stepped beyond your loyalty boundary. And so that might be a case where you did something that you wanted to, but it disappointed someone else. Again, your body's going to give you a signal, and understanding that signal for what it is, when it arises, cues you into the fact that you're getting into a pattern. And so that's all about re-attending. And so then that re-attending that we do to within each session that you do during your daily body check-ins creates a sense of reconnection. So rather than you focusing all of your attention outside, you've reconnected with yourself. You've reconnected with your body, which is really your GPS system for getting around in the world. And so that reoccurring attention to your body, that state of reconnection, is solidified as we do different experiments in your life, in the laboratory of your life. You'll do different things to rediscover aspects of yourself, to re-clarify your assumptions that you've made about yourself, and it creates a strong reconnection with your body and with yourself. And then from that state of connection, we move to the third step of that connection fosters self-regulation. And so that state of connection that you experience then gives you information. And as you're doing more experiments, different exercises, your awareness increases of the implications of your choices and how that will affect your own well-being. And so that sense of self-regulation starts coming in, making choices that are in alignment with who it is you are, who you're discovering yourself to be, and that are in integrity with you and mutually honoring for you. And you can't really have a mutually honoring situation if you're not honoring yourself. That doesn't create a mutually honoring situation. And so the next step, that self-regulation, leads into a sense of reordering. And so you're rediscovering the sense of self-regulation. It leads to creating more order in your life. You'll see through different exercises what's draining you, what's fueling you. You'll have an opportunity to create non-negotiables and structures that really support the order that you're finding in your life, and you're reconstructing a life that supports you, the you that you're discovering yourself to be. And then from there, that reordering is expressed with ease. And so you're able to more easily function in life, less stress. You're able to have tools through the processes that we do together. You'll have tools that you can take with you as you step out into new goals, as you step into new creative projects, as you step into whatever it is that you've envisioned for your life. You are now reconnected back to yourself, and you are developing the muscles and the habits, the structure, the inner stance that you need to be able to thrive in life as who you are and as you're discovering yourself to be. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I just wanted to give you the big overview of what happens in an illustrated format. Again, there's lots of other things that go in there, but this is just a basic understanding and a framework to really communicate to you how what we do works, and an overall understanding for the process and the principles that are underlying what it is that we're doing. So I would, this is the point where I'm supposed to ask you if you'd like to do a clarity session. And so what's involved with the clarity session is we come together for 90 minutes. It's complimentary, and we sit down and we get super clear, like crystal clear, on where you are now, where you want to be, what it's cost you in life up till now, to be operating from this mode of sacrificing, and what you stand to gain from really making this shift in your life. It's one of my favorite things to do. At the end, you get a proposal. It's a document that you can have that really helps you remember what it is, and it's in writing, So often we have random thoughts, but it's in writing, it's organized, it gives you next steps. It's something that you get within a few days of us having the session. And so I really would challenge you to go beyond your comfort zone of doing things for yourself, of always DIYing it or being so fiercely independent, and really take a risk out of your comfort zone to talk with someone about it. You can read some of the comments of the people who've worked with me. I'm very gentle in my approach and yet highly effective. And so it's a safe place to be. It's a safe place to hear yourself, to be heard, to be seen. And it's what I wished had been available to me 16 years ago when I started down this journey. And so it's my honor and privilege to offer it to you. And there will be a way for you to sign up for that below. Thank you so much for taking the time to really sit here and be with this and consider this as a possibility for you. I will see you next time. Thanks.